Hey, Yvonne, how are you today?
I'm awesome. How are you doing?
I'm fantastic. So, we just spent a little bit of time talking pre-recording, and it's super exciting to have you on the show. If someone takes the time to invest their life in watching or listening to this episode, what do you guarantee they're going to get by the end of the show?
I guarantee they're going to get something planted in their mind where they're starting to grow a seed that's going to unlock them from whatever it is, whatever challenge, or perhaps it's not a challenge, perhaps it's a plateau that they've hit. They're going to learn so much more about themselves because you're going to be brave and vulnerable and show them how it's done. And we're going to give them some amazing tools where they can start not work, but self-discovery at home and ways that they can connect with me and my company, Limitless You, to get additional support if they need it.
Awesome. I'm excited. And yes, ladies and gentlemen, Yvonne, we've been talking. What we're going to do is we're going to go through her story. You're going to learn more about what she does. And then, like always, I'm going to use myself as a human guinea pig so you can listen and watch and learn. And then if you decide you want to try it, you can contact Yvonne and continue the conversation and hopefully grow and thrive in your own life. So we're going to take a quick affiliate break and be back in 30, 60 seconds with our friend, Yvonne Trost.
To celebrate our newest launch, Rev 7, I'm bringing you an amazing introductory offer, plus an exclusive overstock sale that you're not going to want to miss. Rev 7 is our premium energy drink that tastes great and gives you energy all day with no jitters and no crashes. That's because there's no sugar and no caffeine. I'm so sure you're going to love Rev 7 that for a limited time you can try our 3-pack absolutely free. Or check out our Percale bed sheets. I can't believe I'm even going to say this. Every color, every style, every size, only $29.88. So go to mypillow.com or call the number on your screen. Use your promo code to save 20% on our Rev 7 12 packs or try our introductory 3-pack absolutely free. And our Percale bed sheets, all sizes only $29.88, even the queens and kings. Inventory is extremely limited, so order now.
All right, welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. Don't forget to take advantage of that great offer. Enjoy it, save money, support our podcast, and support America all at the same time. Now, Yvonne, we're going to get into some great stuff, practical, hands on that our listeners can use and apply to their lives. But before we do, how did you become the person you are today? Where were you born? What was your upbringing like? And good, bad, ugly, pretty, or pretty ugly? What were all the things that made you, what made you so passionate about what you do?
I've had all of those, good, bad, and pretty ugly and pretty good. I'll add that one.
Nice.
Oh my gosh. Well, I want to keep this short and sweet because I want to get to you. I am a small town Midwest gal, born in a town of 2,400 in central Illinois, growing up in not a lot of diversity. Back then there wasn't even good access to the internet. We didn't have all the information. So I was shaped by those that surrounded me, as most of us are, more so than we even know. And so I had the Facebook life. I got the good grades and I went to college and I did all the things that I quote unquote should do. And what I realized is, although it all happened for me, it was time for something more. And my life story from growing up and my parents loved me, they still love me, and I love them. They didn't have a lot growing up. So they grounded me if I didn't get straight A's. They compared me to the valedictorian of the class all the time. They wanted the best for me. They did it out of love, as I'm sure a lot of the listeners can relate to, being pressured by their parents or by their community, all out of love. What you might not know is that it's created some limiting beliefs that have been holding you back. And they held me back for a long time. And it took a really scary divorce where I got a security system, not because I live in a bad neighborhood,
Yeah.
but because of my now ex-husband. And I thought, when the heck did I show up on the after school special? You know, the one that you would watch after school if you're my age, or if you don't, what that means is there's like a movie after school, and it was always something dramatic happening to some family or some kid, and you thought, well, that's not me. Or maybe you did think that was you. What I realized is that although on the surface it didn't look like me, on the inside it did. I strive to be perfect. I strive to do what I should do. I rushed into a marriage so that I could have that Facebook family, the house, the kids, the dog. And all the while, I was just making myself small and wondering, why don't I feel right? Why don't I feel happy? And like most people, I blamed other things and other people because that's what we do. That's what we're taught. That's how we're conditioned. And it wasn't until that desperation hit where I had to get out of a marriage for myself and my kids that I found yoga, that I started to open up my mind to possibilities. And from yoga came meditation and then manifesting. And then I started thinking, instead of why not? Like, why not? Why can't I do this? Why can't I do this? And coming up with all the reasons, I started to think all the reasons that I could. I'd lived so long, David, in the fear of the unknown, right? Playing it safe, being the big fish in the small pond, but then the pond got like crowded and smelly and murky, that I finally learned how to let go of the fear of the unknown and realize I had more to fear by not taking steps to living my authentic self than I had to fear to stay small. Like I was wasting my life, my children, my family, everyone around me. If you're not your best self, David, I don't know if you can relate. I think a lot of your listeners probably can. We always put ourselves last. We got to do it we got to work hard for our colleagues. We got to work hard for our family or our friends or something, right? We're always doing and doing. I was raised with the golden rule. Do unto others as you'd have them do unto you. Sounds pretty good, right? Until they don't do unto you that way. And then resentment and sadness grow. So I've upgraded it to the platinum rule, which is first do unto yourself as you want to be done unto. And then you can ask others, how might I give from my overflow in a way that you receive it with love? Right? So that's my story. I hope that through today and David's vulnerability, that you don't wait for desperation. You don't wait for it to get super, super bad. That you, or if you're in that spot, know you're not alone and know you don't have to stay stuck. And if you're not there, get inspired. The most powerful thing you have is you. Think about it this way. David, what is the most complicated thing on the planet right now? What has man not been able to reproduce without our creator's help?
Okay, that's a loaded question, but I'd say the mind is probably the
Yeah, the
least
whole
understood.
being,
The
right? You
being,
haven't been
yeah.
able to clone David,
Yes, yes, yes. Well, I mean,
right?
yes. I didn't know. I mean, the soul can't be recreated, in my opinion,
Yeah.
but the
Well, I'm
mind is the
talking
least
about all
understood.
of you.
Yes, yes.
You're a complete, beautiful gift and package. But we weren't given human being 101 or 201 or 301. Sex ed in high school did not do it. People look outside. What's the strategy for marketing? What's the strategy for sales? What's whatever the thing is? What is the house? What is the wife, the kids? They look for all these things to feel complete and enough and valuable and powerful outside of themselves because they weren't taught that they just have to look within. We are the most sophisticated, valuable asset that we have, and we can't put ourselves last. And if you're like, well, I have bills and I have kids, whatever, you know what? You're not doing them any service. David, if you are super tired, you're in pain, you haven't slept well, you haven't been eating, you've been working to the bone, and I say, David, I'm going through a lot. I need you to listen. I need some help. Do you think your energy is going to be the best and your advice or connection will be the best it can be if you're exhausted and worn out?
No, you can only give what you have, or sometimes we give everything we have and then we end up more depleted.
Yeah. So if you don't feel like you deserve it, which you do, and we're going to show you why you deserve it, and you've always deserved it, but if you don't feel like you deserve to take care of you, your loved ones deserve for you to take care of you. So if you're watching, and this is going to be one way to remember it. This is a warning. This might disgust you. To David's point, like say we have this, my teacup. And right now I just made it brewed fresh. It's so lovely. And if it was overflowing, I'd be like, David, do you want some tea? You know, it's overflowing. I can put it in this cup. And he might like, oh yeah, that's really great. If I drink all of it, if I deplete my cup, and now this tea represents your self-love or your self-health, whatever you relate to, and all that's left is the backwash, right? Because that's what it is. That's your exhausted self. That is like backwash. And I'm like, here, David, here's what I got for you. Are you gonna take it?
We'd have to be very close, and I wouldn't want to offend you, but probably not.
So wake up. You're not doing anybody any favors, not loving and taking care of your mind, body, and spirit health. So David's question or his answer was really good, right? Because I don't just think of that being as your physical body. Your mind, body, spirit, soul, whatever word you want to use, cannot be compartmentalized. We try in Western society, but we fail miserably. We're going to the doctor for our body, and maybe we'll go to a therapist for our mind, or maybe you'll come see me and realize your mind's super powerful and learn how to use it in less than 2 months instead of spending years on a couch talking about your problems. Or we go to church if you have a religious practice, or maybe you meditate, and those things all impact each other. If you are like super fit, like 5% body fat or whatever it is, but you're not taking care of your spirit or your mind, it doesn't really matter. Your body is still going to develop stress. When your mind is unhappy and your spirit is empty, low-grade inflammation through stress happens in your body even if you look good. And they've already proven time and time again that low-grade stress, that one that is quote unquote normal now that everybody just operates with, that low-grade inflammation causes disease, cancer. So we can't compartmentalize ourselves. So today we begin with our mind and our spirit. And then David's going to continue this off screen. And he's going to integrate it into movement and self-care because our mind, body, and spirit are all together. And so it's time to take care of all three and learn Human Being 101 and 201 and 301. Whether you join my tribe at Limitless You, we have weekly masterminds, or you can go to listen to David. He has this amazing podcast every single week. You can listen to our How to Be Happier for Entrepreneurs podcast. Get curious, learn and grow more about how you work, the human being in general, and then you particularly. What works for David or what works for me might not work for you. So don't believe everything you hear because there's a lot out there. Don't believe what we say today. Let it come into your heart and your soul and your spirit. See if it resonates. Maybe practice some of the things that we do. David will include a ton of free links or links with free resources that we use today so you can experiment and explore at home as well. That would be my word of advice, is how you can get the most out of today.
Excellent. Excellent. So before we go on, and we're going to dive into this, ladies and gentlemen, when you were raised in your home and then you rushed into a marriage, would you say that what you were conditioned in the learned behavior is what you modeled in the marriage and then, that failed? Or were you
Absolutely.
trying? Okay.
And
So,
it's what got me there. So I was brought up in a town of 2,300. Most people, like my parents, got married right after high school. And then my generation, you went to college and then you got married and you better have figured out who you're going to marry so that it can happen right after college. I did something a little different. I studied abroad and then I worked and worked and worked and worked. And then the proverbial clock was ticking, my conditioning. Why aren't you married yet? You can't have kids your whole life. Are you going to get a home? When is this going to happen? All the things, right? And then whether my family was saying it or not, now then there's Facebook and everybody posts all the good stuff, right? All the beautiful, perfect family pictures, and you begin to feel not enough through that conditioning. There's familial conditioning and there's social conditioning. And so then I'm like, okay, it's time. I have a plan. I was back then a planner and a perfectionist because what we'll learn today is that's what made me feel like I was safe. I had control, right? False sense of control, clearly, but I didn't know it then. And so I rushed into a marriage. So that was the first step of conditioning. It's time. This one will work. And I'm like, I can do anything. I can make it happen. Because I was raised with that good conditioning too. Conditioning goes both ways, folks. There's conditioning that works for you and not for you. Only you know what works for you. I was taught I could do anything. I was made independent early, right? Working and believing in myself, that part, right? And then the marriage didn't really, I was taking care of him really, because that's also what I was conditioned to see. You do everything at the sacrifice of yourself. So I made most of the money. I took care of most of the house stuff. I planned everything. Like it was basically like I had an adult child. That's not his fault. That's his conditioning, his story. But I attracted it. I accepted it, right? I created the environment through my conditioning of like, this is okay. This isn't for me. I didn't know that then, but my mind was saying, you take what you get and you don't throw a fit. This is what's in front of you now. So take it and fix it and grow it. And then when it wasn't going right, the conditioning still happened. You still make it work. The D word, divorce, was not acceptable. I knew one family in my hometown that got divorced, and it was a big scandal. I didn't know anybody that was divorced except for one person. Even though now I'm living in DC Metro, like that's how kind of sheltered I was and conditioned, right? So I kept making it work and I kept making it work. And my parents love each other, but they bicker. So I thought, oh, bickering is normal. Like trying to get your needs fulfilled or this is one thing I think is really important to understand. Self-love or self-health is not selfish. There's so many people that talk about narcissism today and they use it for everything. If you're somebody listening and you have a hard time accepting a compliment like I used to be, and I still am a little bit, I'm working on it. We're not taught to love on ourselves. We're taught to love everybody else. And then if you love yourself, you're conceited or you're egotistical, or maybe now they'll call you narcissistic. There is a balance. Self-love and self-health doesn't mean that you're selfish. Like we talked about before, it's actually selfish not to do what you need to do for you so that you can give unto others from your overflow instead of what's left, right? The backwash. Give the best of you instead of what's left of you. That's not selfish, but you can't give the best of you over and over and over again without rejuvenating yourself. But I didn't know that, David. So my marriage, I gave and gave and gave and gave. I did not receive. And so then the bickering and the resentment and the judgment and all the things. How many marriages do you know, David, where it's like you're supposed to be best friends, but you watch couples and it's like they're on opposite teams. And sometimes they're almost like enemies.
Yeah, it's sad.
That's what's quote unquote normal, but that doesn't mean healthy. That's what we observe. That's what we're conditioned to believe. So I thought it was just normal. So I just keep doing it until it became unsafe. Physically. The mental unsafety was there for many years. But I thought, well, that's also normal. That I can tough through that. It wasn't until the physical thing came, and I thought, oh my God, I'm on an after school special. I recognize this is something bad. Be careful what you normalize. Because there's a lot of normal out there that's not healthy and well. And what's healthy for me isn't the same as what's healthy for David all the time or what's healthy for somebody else. So you have to know yourself. You have to know how you fill your cup and how you feel love. If you're like, I don't know, Yvonne, how like seems like a lot. How many books do I have to read or what am I gonna go take our self-love quiz. It will take you less than 5 minutes. It's 12 questions. Unlock limitlessyou.com/quiz. It's free. Make sure we don't show up in your promotions or in your spam. After you take the quiz, you will get your results as well as you'll get a series of emails that helps you understand your answer to each question. So be honest. There is no straight A's. There's only awareness. There's no judgment. There's only love. Start learning about your way of being with yourself and others so that you don't have to wait 25 years and all the, hits over the head from the universe like I did. Right? Start learning and loving on yourself and know that you're not egotistical and you're not selfish. There's a balance. And most of us have not been taught how to make the balance happen in a way that's best for us and best for others. So we're gonna do a little bit of that today.
All right. So now is this exercise we're going to do, we're going to use me as the guinea pig and to, show what you do. But is it something that our listeners can kind of follow along with to help themselves as well?
Absolutely. So obviously we have a 5 session, usually it's between 5 weeks to 8 weeks program. We also have weekly group coaching as well as self-paced learning. So we have a lot of different things because what I've learned, we started just with one-on-one coaching, but that's not available to everybody. So I wanted to give something of assistance, of value to help unlock people. That's what our website's called Unlock Limitless You. That's how you remember it, right? Because you are limitless and this helps unlock you. No matter where they're at, whether they're ready for the one-on-one and they can invest in that or they can't and they're like, let me use the free resources. So today we'll use just a couple of little things that I have in my tool belt, obviously not everything. And almost everything that we use today, they can walk along with us. So if you're listening to this afterwards, just press pause. So as David's going through it, you can do it for yourself. He'll have a link to the download in the show notes. And most of it you can get, though, if you go to our website underneath resources. The free material is there, little templates and stuff for you to download so that you can do it on your own. So if you're listening to this, press pause, go to unlocklimitlessyou.com/resources and download all the free tools there because we're going to use some of them today. And that way you have them handy.
Sounds excellent. So how do we start?
All right. So I am going to, for those of you watching, I'll be sharing screen. And again, we're doing what we can do within the confines of a podcast today, but I'm so excited and proud of David. Well, number one, I just so excited to meet him. Like this is going to be so fun. And I love how vulnerable you're being because you know that there's no, let me get you back where I can see you. There's no right or wrong, right? There's no shame. Like, guys, today, the 3 things I want you to get rid of or begin to get rid of: no fear. Unless you're in mortal danger, then run or fight, do what you got to do. But today, we're not in mortal danger. Quite often in our heads, though, when something triggers us, we feel like we're in mortal danger. And that's why we get angry or we fight or we run or we freeze up. So, no fear. The second thing is no judgment. No judgment of self or others. So I love that David's being vulnerable because he's not fearing judgment. He's not going to judge himself. He is going to be open and curious to learn and grow. And the third thing is no self-pity or self-victimization. If you feel sorry for yourself, your brain says, you have a reason to be sorry for yourself. You should stay here. Your brain doesn't know what's going on outside of you. It only knows the words and the thoughts that you give it. And its only job is to make those things true. So we don't want to think that we have reasons to feel sorry for ourselves. We want to feel like we are able to be empowered and to grow. So that's what we're going to do today. No fear, no judgment, no self-pity. This is all about compassion and curiosity. Are you ready?
Yeah, let's do it.
Okay, I'm going to share my screen. You let me know when you can see it.
Yep, I can see it now. It's you and a gentleman. Is that your new
Yeah,
husband or is that a
that's
partner?
my partner. He's my partner in life and my partner in business. His name's Brad Chandler, and our company is called Limitless You. And we started this company because we both discovered kind of at the same time each other, as well as this amazing method that we continue to craft and hone, that we're like, why doesn't everybody know about this? Like, you can unlock yourself and begin to be happier and freer in less than 2 months. And it's affordable. What's going on? Well, that's the reason. It's not a moneymaker. So Western society doesn't promote it. But it's been known for many, many years. So what I want you first to answer for me, David, is can you believe what I'm saying? Like, I'm not saying believe me, but can you believe that what you want in life is closer than you think or you've been led to believe?
Yes.
Okay, that's the first step. If you're thinking, this won't work, if you're thinking, what? I can be happier in 2 months? And there's no plant-based medicine and there's no medicine of any kind? How is that possible? That's too easy. I can't believe that. Then this isn't for you because your mind is my number one partner. And if your mind is going to resist me, right? And it's going to resist what you want in life, the cards are stacked against us. So if you're listening, I want you to ask yourself, can I believe that I can be happier and it's not going to take very long? Even though I've tried all these other things before? If your answer is yes, keep listening. Okay, here we go. So let me see how I do this. Oh, I thought I could do screen share like this. Let's just do it this way. Okay, so can you read this quote for me from Voltaire, David?
Love is a canvas furnished by nature and embroidered by imagination.
What comes up for you, mind, body, or spirit, when you read that?
To me, what he's saying or what image comes in my mind.
Like when you just read it, your being reads this.
Yeah, I just think
What?
God gives us a beautiful life and free will to make our decisions. And honestly, when we're walking with Him, there's nothing better. And then we can create and experience anything beyond what we could imagine.
Yeah, I love that. There's no right or wrong, by the way. What is, do you have any sensations in your body?
You and I were talking pre-show. I got a headache right now, and I have a hard time with feelings. That's actually one of the things. I feel like I'm numb. I haven't cried in years. So I had something, really traumatic happen, and I cried every single day for almost a year, if not over a year. And then one day it just shut off, and I haven't cried since like 2015. So I'm a
Wow.
kind of a numb emotionally. So I
Okay.
don't know, ladies and gentlemen, I'm trying. I'm trying to be vulnerable, but I'm being real.
This is great. I want you to think of, there's so many different things that we can do. I'm going to make this a note because we might talk again.
Yeah, I've got close a few times. I've even had a tear in my eye. Like some of the podcasts, they're so beautiful and people share their stories and there's real healing and emotion going on. And I'll get to that verge and a tear will come to my eye and then it just stops. So I don't know what's going on.
Well, we're going off script. We're going wild, wild, wild west today, ladies and gentlemen. So do you have a piece of paper there, David?
I have a laptop I can type on, but you want me to get an actual piece of paper?
Yeah, because I think there's something that happens when you physically write.
All right, I agree totally. I thought that as a teen. I taught my children that. I taught my students that when I taught at college. So I agree. So ladies and gentlemen, you're not going to notice a difference. And in the magic of technology, I'm going to hit pause and come back. So I'll be right back. All right, ladies and gentlemen, that was a couple minutes. You didn't even notice. All right, Yvonne. All right,
Okay,
all right, Yvonne, go ahead. Let's do this. I
so
got my
David,
notepad and pen. Blue ink
perfect.
too. Blue ink, always blue ink.
Oh, I don't know why that is, but it's good to know. I use a Sharpie. So You said, let me make sure we have this correct. So if the listeners are listening, we're all on the same page here. I wrote down you're numb emotionally and that you haven't cried since 2015. Is that accurate?
Yeah. I mean, maybe 2016, but it, yeah, 2016 actually, because I
Okay.
cried all of 2015 and 2016 is where it dried up.
Okay. And when you say numb emotionally, what does that mean to you?
Man, it's like I feel like I'll feel like low grade depression or sad a lot of times, but not extreme. And then sometimes I'll feel a little happy, but not extreme. I feel like I'm never alone. There's always
Mhm.
people around me, but I feel alone all the time. It's like that old Bush song, never alone, but alone all the time. Yeah, I just feel like distant from people. Like I love God and I love people, but there's part of me that just wants to go away and just be by myself for 6 months. And there's part of me that's like, wait, is that what you need to heal? Or is that self-sabotaging? You're trying to destroy your life more. Like a great life, we're trying to destroy it. So
Right.
I was actually just having this conversation with somebody I love yesterday. Like I'm really searching for where am I in life and where does God want me to be? I don't want to be holding myself back.
Oh my gosh, we definitely need to continue. So, guys, there's realize, recode, and rewrite. Let's keep going after today because you're not so far away. Number one, you have awareness, which is huge. We don't want to get stuck in analysis paralysis, and I don't want you to overthink it with your conscious mind. Your answers are in your subconscious, David. And your subconscious doesn't speak English, French, German, Spanish, any of that. It speaks through emotions and sensations. So, you know how we said that you're the most complicated thing on the planet?
Hmm.
Those emotions have information. Those emotions, your mind's trying to block them because it fears that by letting them come through, there's something worse that could happen. You need, though, to bring them close. You need to sit with them, right? Just like I know you're a religious man, so think about the Bible and the Bible verses, right? Like sometimes it doesn't make sense and you got to like sit with it a little bit and feel it and experience it and practice it. Your emotions are no different. So if I use the word emotional, would that sum it up for you in your mind? Like emotional is crying or emotional is feeling high emotions and low emotions. Like does that a word emotional? Like what's one or two words that kind of sums up this for you? Overly emotional? Like what resonates with you?
What I am or what I think
Yeah,
emotion.
what you think crying means and what you think extreme highs or extreme lows that you said you can't feel.
Well,
What's
no, and it's not even extreme like somebody who's extreme to me is like bipolar. What I'm saying is the normal healthy range of emotions. You should feel joy and you should feel sadness at times, To
okay.
everything there's a season and a balance.
Yes.
But overall, you're steady and stable in between. And some people have higher and lower based on how God made you. But what I'm saying is I just feel like numb straight across the board and then I'll start tilting sad or I start tilting happy and then it just goes right back and it's just like shut off emotions.
And how would you describe what you think that healthy balance is?
Healthy balance is like you're free on the inside. Like for instance, the only medical issue I have is I struggle with high blood pressure, but there's zero wrong with me physiologically. It's mental. And I
Yeah.
put this mental stress on, so it builds up. And when I relax, it's fine.
Yes.
So that is something that I've struggled with since all this crap happened too. Like I literally found blood test results from before or like at the onset of the family chaos, and my blood pressure was like 115 over 60, and my heart rate was like 58. I was like in fantastic shape, and everything was great. And now it's like, dude, I gotta start running and moving and getting back in shape because I'm not even close to that. But even when I do, like let's say that was my baseline my entire life, the baseline moved up from all this internal stress I'm holding on to.
Yeah, if you guys are listening, David's example is absolutely perfect. his high blood pressure, your high blood pressure, your disease, your cancer, your whatever physical suffering you have, is not just from what you eat. It's from your mental health. So this is why this is important. So David, I want you to take a fresh sheet of paper and I want you to write the word emotional at the top.
Okay.
Okay. And I'm going to give you 60 seconds. And then we can fast forward this if we need to. All right, for the listeners.
Yeah,
He's
I'll pause it for the sake of listeners.
yeah, he's getting 60 seconds to write down as many words or short phrases that come to your mind when you see the word emotional. You ready?
Yeah, actually, you know what? I'm not going to pause it. That way the listeners have the same amount of time. All
Okay.
right, so say that again. What's the instructions for us? Write down everything we think about the word emotional.
Well, that's for your case, right?
Well,
So
for
for
my case.
listeners, if you're like, you have anger or you have fear or you have money issues or you whatever it is the thing is that you have, think of the word that represents that, okay? And write it at the top of your paper. I'm going to give you a minute and I want not sentences, not paragraphs, not anything. As many one or two kind of phrases, two-word phrases as you can think of in 1 minute.
Okay.
Ready? Go. Stop. Now I want you to flip the page over, and at the top of it, I want you to write the word numb.
On the
And for you guys,
backside.
yep, on the backside, for you guys that are listening, like think of the words that are the opposite of whatever it is that you're wanting more insight in. Like for David, we're figuring out a little bit more about why he doesn't feel emotions as much and why he feels numb, right? Whatever it is for you, think of a word that resonates with you, right? Because your mind needs to understand it. So David's wrote the word numb at the top of his page, and I'm going to give you a minute, David. Same thing, one or a couple words per phrase, as many as you can think of. Go. When you think of the word numb. Stop.
Okay.
Before we go to the next thing, that everybody's going to do the same thing, can you share with me and the listeners what came up for you when you wrote down the word emotional?
So when I wrote emotional, I put numb, pain, tired, hurt, fatigue, loss of balance, sad, alone, abandonment, betrayed, and brain fog.
Perfect. How many, now I want you to circle everything that you actually want in your life. How'd that? So you're not going to circle anything, right?
No, hell no.
Okay, now just real quick, let's see what numb got us.
Numb, dead inside, brain fog, distant, shut off, cold, unloved, hurting, misunderstood, sad, alone, without purpose, waste of life, ungrateful.
How many of those things are you going to circle that you want?
None.
Okay, and we're in the wild here now. How many of those things do you think your mind uses as an excuse or helps you explain why you can't feel emotions?
Wait, repeat that question?
So look at your numb list.
Okay.
Are any of those good reasons why you don't feel emotions?
No.
Read them again.
Or are they good reasons why I don't? I'm dead
Yeah, like in an
inside.
argument, could you say, well, I don't feel emotions because of,
Yeah, I'm shutting it off to protect myself, it looks like.
yeah, yeah. So this is really cool. And I didn't know what he was going to write. I don't know what you're writing, but look at this. He wants to be healthy emotionally and experience that range. But everything that he associates with that word emotional, he said, hell no, I don't want that. So do you think your subconscious mind, because we're not doing hypnosis today. Maybe we'll do that another day. But this is a quick way just to get a little window. Journaling is a window to your subconscious. Doing something quick like this is a little window to it. You have all negative associations with emotions. And so your mind, this is really cool. I've not done this before. Your mind thinks numbing is the solution to protect yourself. That's what you just said. And that's what we saw. Your mind's job, your subconscious mind's job is only to do one thing, to keep you alive. That's how our creator designed that particular component of our complex being. It keeps us alive. That's why our species has survived. The conditioning or the limiting beliefs, the experience in your life, David, which we will find out when we do the hypnosis, have led you to believe emotions bad, emotions unsafe. And the numbing is something you learned along the way to cope. It's just an unhealthy coping mechanism. And once you learn the root and the reason, and that's what we do at Limitless You, why you've equated emotions to unsafety and unpleasant things, we look at what your little mind, little David, right? Because most of those conditions were built before you were 10 years old. Why you had to come up with those and what truth you made of it, what belief system was starting to create. And then guess what? Because you're powerful enough to create that belief system, you weren't informed. Now with more information, you can create a new belief system, one that empowers you and frees you, unlocks you, hence unlock limitless you, to feel the healthy range of emotions that you want to, so that you can get more of what we're going to do next. So get another sheet of paper real quick.
Okay.
First, let me ask you, David, is that resonating? Like, are you like, oh, like I promised? You said, what do you guarantee? And at first, I'm like, oh God, how do I guarantee something? But I'm like, no, I can do it. Have you learned something a little bit more about yourself so far?
Yeah, and this, I don't want to sound, knowledge means nothing if it doesn't transfer to your heart and like conscious or subconscious. And I feel like I know all these pieces, but they're not connecting the dots. And even though might try to help somebody else with this, I'm not able to do it myself. So when you just said, I'm protecting myself by not feeling, and numbing is an unhealthy coping mechanism, it helps me to see it more. And I totally agree. So now the question is, how do I do it? And then like I actually thought, when's the last time I felt something? We're recording this in 2025, and the last time I felt, I mean, seriously, last time I really felt, and like that, what do you call it?
Release.
relief, safety, even love was probably 2015. I felt it twice for like 30 to 60 seconds. And then even before that, it was very far and few between. But I haven't felt that love and safety in like 10 years.
And
And
how
this
do
is all my fault. This isn't God's fault. This is me.
Well, it's not your fault either. It's just conditioning. And what I remember, one of the three things, what are the three things we're getting rid of? Do you remember?
Wait, what it,
What are the three things we're getting rid of? What did I say at the beginning of the call?
I don't know. Repeat back.
Fear, fear, judgment, and self-pity.
Okay, yes, okay.
And if you say it's my fault, what are you doing?
Judgment.
Yeah, we don't need that. It's not helping anything. There's no need for judgment. It is what it is. It just is what it is. And what we're going to do is choose to learn and grow from it. We don't need to blame, fault. We don't need to think of failure. Like our creator put us here on earth school. And our creator created us perfect, love and light. We've talked about that. And put us in earth school so we can grow and learn. And if we don't make mistakes, if we did everything perfectly, would we grow?
No.
No. So if you're listening and you judge yourself or you judge others, I want you to stop and say, oh, like you've heard, I think Tony Robbins maybe said it. I don't know if he came up with it. This is another thing where you hear it, you know it, but you can't embody it. Things really do happen for you, not to you. So if you make a mistake, if you get yourself in a situation like David's in, how might this happen for him? Maybe he's going to learn and grow, and then he's going to actually be able to teach others even better than he can now. So we don't want to put any energy into judgment and all energy into curiosity, compassion, and growth. You with me?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So we'll figure out, right, the next step. But before we go to that next step, right, you said you kind of like, oh, I have this awareness now. How do I change it? We're going to begin to change it. But before we do, I want you to get another sheet of paper. And
Okay.
everybody, you do the same thing this time. And at this sheet of paper, I want you to write the word love at the top of it. And I'm going to give you 60 seconds. And I want you to write down as many words, and they don't even have to make sense. Whatever comes to you, it could be a color, it could be a shape. I don't care what it is. Just as many things as possible when you think of the word love. Go. Stop. Flip your page over, and at the top, write lack of love. Lack of love.
Okay.
Because that's really the opposite, right? There's a lot of different words you can use, but they're not exactly the opposite. So, lack of love. You have a minute. As many things that you think of when you think of lack of love. Whatever comes to you, don't overthink it.
Go.
Go. Now, look at your lack of love list. Before you read it out to me, I want you to put an O in front of anything on the list that's describing your way of being with others. So if there's anything on that list that sometimes or regularly you are that way with others, put an O in front of it and let me know when you're done.
Okay.
Now, put an S in front of anything that's your way of being with yourself.
They're pretty much the same.
Okay? So on your lack of love list, you have a couple things that you're that way with yourself and with others, correct?
Hmm.
And can you share those?
So when you have a lack of love, you're purposeless, you're tired, you're fatigued, you're exhausted, you're bitter. You can be cruel or harsh. And then not these ones, like this is the general, I truly don't do this. But deceit, lies, theft, just ungodly, and just it's dangerous to be in that place. You can waste your life.
Mm-hmm. And which ones did you have an well, tell me which ones you had an S in front of.
Tired, fatigued, exhausted, bitter. It can be cruel at times. Like I'm usually super tolerant, but if I get pushed to the edge, when I go over the edge, it's just like poof, like harsh. I don't know if I'd say cruel, but I'd say more harsh.
Mm-hmm.
And then sad, purposeless, just kind of wasting life.
Mm-hmm. Now flip your list over, and I want you to do the same thing. First, put an O in front of any of the things that you felt love meant or came to you when you thought of the word love in your way of being with others.
Okay.
Okay? And what do you see? Are the O's and S's the same? Are there more of one versus the other? Do you have more O's than S's or more S's than O's?
So I think on this one, it's hard for me because if you said like how I define love, it has a lot to do with other people and their interactions with other people.
Hmm.
So my heart and the way I approach things, I might be, you know, like dependable, right? Let's just use that word. I actually didn't even write that one down. I didn't know how to articulate it, but you can count on them. So I might be dependable towards others and I'll keep my promise and my word, or I'll make sure it happens. But I don't get that usually back aside from, a couple of great individuals.
Yeah, so that's your way of being with others. So you did that right.
Yeah.
What about your way of being with you, the S's.
Yeah, I probably have a lot
Of,
of being with me.
hmm I'm looking to see, are there more O's or more
Well,
S's?
for instance, like here's some of my own shared life. You share moments together. You're loyal to each other by each other's side. So I don't know how would I share life with myself. I mean, I don't know. That's what I'm saying. So that's why I'm struggling.
Well, sharing life, what does life mean? What does sharing mean?
Experience and doing it together.
Hmm. And do you have experiences that you love? Would you do something with yourself or only if you have another?
Oh, I see what you're saying. No, I mean, I would do things by myself, but I tend not to.
So you probably, there'd be more of an O than an S. Like the
Oh, I
old
got you. Yes, 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 then
the
yes.
old me would have never gone out to eat at a nice restaurant by myself. Never. I enjoy it. I think that's a nice
I
experience.
got you. Like I bought people like this the last couple of weeks, I bought a bunch of gifts for people just randomly. And like I've been wanting to get a watch for my health for like 2 or 3 years, but I wouldn't spend the money on it. And then this week, I think it was ironically, it was Monday before my back went out. I bought myself a Garmin watch. And then I'm like, I'm gonna get in shape. That's it. I'm tired of this. And then my back goes out that night.
So, that is really fascinating that we could dig into, but you're hitting the nail on the head with your example. You show love and you give love more to others in that example than you give it to yourself,
Hmm.
right? You like
Yeah.
just randomly buy people presents and you got to think about giving yourself a watch that is for your health for a couple of years, right? Like I do the same thing. I will buy gifts. I love buying gifts. And the old me would have like penny pinched and saved forever. So, what are some other things? Because what I want you to see, because this is where you're like, well, how do I shift now? Well, how we're going to shift is learning more how to love ourselves and why we don't, and remove those blockers so that we start, right? So in your example, you know how to give love that you'd want to receive. You're dependable for everybody else. And but you're not necessarily doing it for yourself in the couple examples we shared so far. Are there any others where you have an O but not an S?
Yeah, I mean, like I'm loyal to other people, but I'll like screw myself over.
Yeah, right? I mean, that's what old me too. And even some, I'm laughing because, guys, if I'm laughing, I'm not laughing at David. I
Oh no,
laughter,
I get it. And like some
laughter and
people, I hope you
teasing.
don't understand it, ladies and gentlemen. But if you do, you're with Yvonne and I in this fun group, right?
Yeah, because we're like, that doesn't make any sense. Why would we do that? Because we're human beings and nobody taught us how our conditioning controls us and limits us. So, right now, ladies and gentlemen, we are unlocking ourselves with awareness. And then we're going to begin to take steps to make sure that we recode it. So, David, instead of like being dependable for everybody else but screwing yourself, what would you prefer instead? Would you like to keep self-sabotaging and screwing yourself over and waiting 2 years to get a watch?
Yeah, no, no. I want to be able
No.
to, yeah.
So what would you choose? What do you want to consciously choose that we want to recode to? So look at your list and I want you to circle the things that you want to give yourself more of. That your wish, your desire, circle everything on your love list that you want more of for yourself, knowing you deserve it. And if you don't believe it yet, just take my word for it and I'll help you get there. So if you're listening, what we're doing is look at your love list and anything that doesn't have an S by it, but has an O by it, get curious about why. And anything that doesn't have an S by it, but you want more of it, circle it. I didn't know we were going to do this, but I have some slides I can share to send to you, David, for this.
Okay.
Let me know when you're done.
Okay.
All right, so read out loud to me the things that you are choosing and desiring to have more of in your life for you,
I
to
want
give
more
to
peace.
yourself.
Yeah, more peace, more joy. I want to have more just, fun experience, not just fun, but more experiences like traveling and doing things that I don't take the time for, spending time just with myself and the people I love, but to feel emotions again. And then to be able to, like, if I say, like, I'll tell myself, man, this month I'm not gonna eat sugar. I'm just pulling this out of the air. And then I get halfway through and it's like, oh, well, this person invited me to dinner and I'm not going to say anything. So then I stop my own commitment to myself just to, be kinder to other people. So I just need to be able to count on myself. And then I want to be able to have confidence that I know, and I do have confidence that if it's me and God, I'm good. But I want to be able to have peace and joy in that.
I love that. We're going to take the next step here in a minute. One thing I want to just share is it is so common. I've gone through it. Everybody goes through it. Again, that big J word, I wish judgment was a four-letter word because it should be. When we do things because we think we should, and we're shoulding all over ourselves, right? It's analogous to the other SHI word that you're doing to yourself. When you should all over yourself, I should do this, I should do that, I shouldn't eat sugar, I should, you are judging yourself. We need to shift it, even if it's the same thing. Let's use a sugar example. Like, I don't want to eat sugar. I desire a healthier body, and I've read the science and I understand how my body works, and I know that it doesn't serve me and it doesn't love me back. Coming from that mindset is so much different than I shouldn't eat sugar because my clothes are fitting tight and I'm bad if I eat. You know what I mean? So get rid of the judgment in any goal that you have. Get rid of judgment and shift to desire. Okay, so that's one thing I want to say there. But now, what I want to do, because this is really good, David. So we discovered that you want to feel healthy emotions, but anything, the word emotions and emotional spells danger to you, spells pain and suffering. And so your brains come up with a solution to go numb, to protect yourself. We've also seen, right, that you do have love and you believe other people deserve it, but perhaps something inside of you doesn't believe you deserve it enough. Or you believe it, but you haven't been able to make it happen. Is that a good summary of what we've learned and discovered and where we're at so far?
Yes.
Okay. So if you had a magic wish, I'm going to give you a magic wish. Knowing what we know now, what would be your magic wish?
To feel peace and joy.
Okay. Why is it important for you? And this is going to seem a little strange. And guys, if you're listening, you can go to unlocklimitlessyou.com/resources and download Getting to the Root of It to have what David and I are doing here. So David's magic wish is to feel peace and joy. And this is going to seem strange, but just stay with me. This is something that is modified, that was made famous by Dean Graziosi on Lewis Howes's podcast, School of Greatness. Let's see what we see. So your magic wish is to feel peace and joy. And right now that seems like it's a magical wish, which most people don't believe in magic, right? Or it's something outside of your control. Why is it important to you to feel peace and joy, David?
Because it's healthier and it's like, like rest, to be able to rest.
Why is it important for you to be healthier and be able to rest?
Because that's how God designed us to be. And when we'll have the most peace and joy, when we're in just that state of flow and just whatever happens, happens, and we just do our best.
And why is it important to you to know that doing your best is okay? that whatever happens, happens.
Wait, restate the question.
So you said that's how God's design works, to be in a state of flow and know whatever happens, happens, and we just do our best.
Hmm.
So why is it important to know that just doing your best is okay?
Because we're fulfilling the destiny that God intended us to. And that's when we'll have the most peace and joy and fulfillment.
I'm just typing, guys.
Yeah, I'm actually impressed with your memory. Like recalling it word for word. I don't
I
remember
think
what I
I
said.
think in another life I might have been a court stenographer before there was AI. No, just as a side note, the only computer I touched other than my dad's for like this old like archaic game growing up was keyboarding class in high school.
Nice.
And you had to like there's who could type the fastest, and of course I had to be the best and the fastest. So so sorry, we digress. Why is it important for you to live in a way that God designed you for your destiny? So we are fulfilling the destiny that God intended us to. Why is that important for you to fulfill that destiny?
Because he's my father and I truly want to please him. And I want to make sure that in this life and in eternity, I'm just like as pleasing him as possible. And then again, it's like this beautiful thing where you're pleasing God and that's when you have the most peace yourself. So it's a win-win situation.
Let me ask you this. What I have a couple questions here because we need more information. What is the destiny that God intended you to live? What is it? Do you know?
I mean, our whole purpose for every human is to glorify God. That's in the Bible, it's in John. And then just to bring him glory and joy. And when we are to love God and to love others, the greatest two commandments. Jesus said it. So if we're loving God and loving others, we're fulfilling that and we're glorifying God and we're pleasing him and we're going to have the most joy. But
How do you
again, it's
love
that
God? How do you
by,
please Him and love God specifically?
well, there's a million different ways, just like how do we love our spouse or how do we love our child? We show it, we do things, and there's times where diverse obedience is better than sacrifice, right? Sometimes like we want to do something, but it's not the right thing, or it's not the right time. But
Right,
when
but you
for
specifically, getting out of theory,
Yeah, yeah. For me to show love is
what is
to
God's destiny? Like, how do you glorify Him and how do you love Him? How do you please Him? What do you think in your mind? What do you
spend
think is
time,
going to do that?
spend time with him, tell others about him, live as holy life as a man can.
What's a holy life look like?
Well, no lying, no stealing, no cheating, no immorality.
Hmm.
Telling the truth. That's huge. The closest attribute to Satan is lying and theft. So that's like the biggest one to me is don't lie.
Okay. And how might we do these things and think about these things? So I was brought up Lutheran, right? So I know all this stuff. And I believe it. And I believe that man has had to do his best with what he thinks God has given him, right? But
Hmm.
man is imperfect. So, how might we love God and please him? Looking at this list, how might we do it without judgment? How could you love God without needing to use judgment?
Judgment being judging myself and always being critical and harsh.
Hmm.
I mean, just do your best. And if you screw up, confess it and move forward.
Yeah, just be. That's beautiful, right? So I was brought up Lutheran and I have a relationship with my creator. And I also know that a lot of my conditioning from Sunday school and church, there's a lot of judgment. And if you look at history, right, there was a lot of desire by man to control the masses. And so they used fear and they used judgment. And so what I want us to do is to get closer to God and take out the middleman.
Yeah.
Right? Would God want you to beat yourself up?
No.
No. Would God want you to live in fear of emotions?
That's a tough question. Not live in fear of them, but to deny emotions. Because like Jesus, he didn't want to go to the cross, but he did it because it was the right thing. So he picked fact over feeling. So there's definitely a denial of the flesh and those feelings. So
Well, but
that's
then
what,
there's other feelings, right? He had a feeling of love and he made the choice.
yes. Yep.
So he chose. You can have an emotion and you can have a feeling. And that's what I was talking about earlier. Bring them closer. They're just information. Have compassion, get curious. So, in this example, if Jesus just tried to ignore it, he would have suffered much, much more because he would have thought, I'm doing this outside of my control. He knew he would have those emotions and those feelings, right? I'm sure.
Hmm.
And he chose from his heart, from love and light, not from fear and judgment, right?
Hmm.
So emotions are just information that we need to get curious about. Bodily sensations are just information. Like, let me ask you this. When you were designed, David, did you design yourself and say, I'm going to create this human being and I'm going to have him have emotions?
No, God did.
God did. So who's smarter, our creator or us?
God.
Yes. So if he gave you these things, he wants you to feel them. They have a reason. They're happening for you. It's only through our conditioning, right? Through our doubt and faith that we're supported and loved unconditionally, right? When we go back to our creator, whether you're listening and it's God for you or Allah or Buddha or the universe or whatever word you use, when you are so connected and realize that your creator designed you perfectly. Your creator wants you to experiencing these things because that's how you grow. And you know that you're unconditionally loved and supported for who you are authentically by your creator. It's like you said earlier, David, when you know it's you and your God, you're confident. You're unstoppable. You're limitless, right?
Hmm.
Awesome. So let's keep going. I think that's really helpful, right? So we got to, why is it important to you? Because you wanted to please your creator. And when we got rid of judgment and we put into love, you said it's just to just be, right?
Hmm.
So I can just be. Just be as you, would you say, were designed to be? Just be as my creator.
Just be at peace and fulfill whatever's next on the journey.
Mhm. And why is it important for you so that you can finally just be? Why is that important to be able to just be? Why is that important?
I just want peace. I just want to be at rest.
Yeah. And if you're in judgment or if you're in fear, if I had you do the same exercise all over again and I said, right, fear and judgment, however many words that come up, would peace and at rest show up on that list?
No.
No, absolutely not. Right? So I want you to begin to see right? We are conditioned to believe when we do all the shoulds or when we have to judge and feel these things, it takes us away from just being. It takes us away from being as we were designed authentically. And we begin to wear all these masks and put all these to-dos on our list that were never a part of what we were supposed to do. You can get closest to your creator when you get still in meditation or prayer, even walking meditation, whatever it is. When you are just still and connected and at peace with yourself, without judgment and without fear, that's when things are going to become clearest. Where your destiny begins to flow versus feel forced. Where you begin to float versus feeling like you're pushing a rock uphill. Where you can let your body cry if it wants to cry. You don't have to hold it in. Where you can feel whatever emotion, knowing that you'll be okay. No matter what emotion you show or feel, you're not going to die. Your creator's there to support you, and he's created you in a way to feel. And by feeling, you can connect more deeply to yourself and to others. So let's keep going. This is what I want to just share with you. So there are 3 steps, right? It's really easy to remember things in 3. We already remember now, right? The 3 things we're going to get rid of in our life: judgment, fear, and self-pity,
Yep.
right? Because they're not getting us what we need. They're not letting us just be, right? Do you see that now?
Mm-hmm.
So these are the next set of 3. How do we get there? You said, well, I get it now. I can get it, but how do I really live it and be it? There's kind of like this new infinity way of being that we've created. First, you have to realize, today we're beginning to realize with our conscious mind, but we have to tap into your subconscious. We have to go to, where did little David first develop these beliefs that he needed to judge himself and he needed to give everything to everybody else but not himself? We have to get there. That would be, you might get a little bit today, but that'll be the next step. And then we have to decide, what do we want instead? Do you want a long list of like judgment and metrics and goals and whatever? Or do you want to just be at peace and rest?
Just be at peace and rest.
Yeah, so we need to define what that is, right? We need to attract it into our life. I don't think we'll get to that today, but if you're listening, and David, I want you to, I'll give you some things to do, or we can meet again. I want you to really start defining, what does that mean? Most people can tell me what they don't want, and like they have a really long laundry list of, here's all this stuff that I want to get rid of. But what does that peace and rest mean? What does that look like? What does it feel like? I want you to journal on using all your senses. If you are at peace and rest, what would that look like and feel like? What would be things that would happen in your daily life? What might open up to you? What travel might you explore? What schedule changes might you make? What does it look and feel like? And then try to begin to feel it. There's also on our website some meditations that you can get where I help you do these things in meditation. It's kind of like a guided meditation that isn't hypnosis, but it's kind of like that. It helps you get there to bring in those emotions and those sensations. Who knows? You might even listen to one and cry because you're going to allow yourself to. And then we have to take action because your subconscious mind has been doing what it's been doing for a long time. So it's not going to believe you that you deserve all those things you circled with love, David. It's not going to believe that you deserve the peace and the joy and that it's possible until you start taking action to show that it is true. It doesn't have to be huge action, it can be micro action. Because here's what happens. So, can you read this slide for me for those that aren't able to see it? I want to make sure people understand what's going on in their brain. This is the realize part that I want them to know a little bit more about.
All right. Your brain is organized to reflect everything that you know. Most people live by thinking and feeling based on past experiences, which creates a predictable future and anchors us to old patterns. When that happens, our thoughts, actions, and behaviors become an automatic unconscious habit. When you think from your past memories, you can only create experiences that resemble the past. This is why at Limitless You, we help people realize the belief patterns and untruths that have been ruining their lives without them knowing or understanding why and how to change it.
Yeah. So when you ask somebody, well, how do you know something? Do they very often, some people will, but not very often will they say, well, it hasn't happened yet, but I just know in my gut and my intuition this is going to happen. Most of the time they say, well, and last year this happened, or in the past, or it's always been that way, or this person's always that way. Our automatic programming, if it's not conscious, quite often it's even conscious, we believe what's happening today or what will happen tomorrow is formed based upon what's happened in the past. Does that make sense?
Hmm.
Right? So if we believe that everything that's going to happen today or tomorrow is based upon what's in the past, what's the only thing that we can create?
More of the past.
Yeah. All right. So Dr. Joe Dispenza says this thing, which I love it. Do you want a past present or a future present?
Yeah, future present. I don't want
Yeah.
past.
Yeah. So that's why we have to get to the unconscious and the automatic programming because it doesn't know the future until you teach it. Is this light bulb going off? Like, can you see patterns in your life that keep happening over and over again? And you're like, why does that keep happening? Or why can't I feel these emotions? Why do I keep going numb? Even though I really want to cry, even though I really want to feel these emotions.
Yeah, well, even like right now. Okay, so I told you, ladies and gentlemen, I hurt my back this week. I don't think we talked about that, but Yvonne and I talked about it before the podcast. So since we started recording this episode, is it just from sitting here or is it because I'm talking about emotions? But my head is absolutely killing me and my back pain is intensified and I'm getting exhausted. And then I think about my whole life. It doesn't matter when I have like interpersonal conflict and people start talking about emotions and feelings, I just shut down. All I want to do is go to sleep.
Yes,
So,
that's,
how do
you know
you,
what that is? You
it's
are,
not
I
healthy.
love, I love that you're saying this. That's your body's way of protecting you.
Yeah.
That's your body's way of protecting you. It says this pain, it fears what your emotions, it thinks the emotions are worse than the pain that you're feeling. It's saying, no, 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 don't go there. We've stayed alive until this point in time of life. Let's not change anything. You'll be okay. Just suffer through it. Just tough it out. So I think I want to do one more thing and then I'm going to give you a break. But this is really important. You've discovered a couple really big things here. So we could say your challenge, and I'm going to say was because we want it to be past tense, right? And we're going to start believing in everything that we want to be true, we're going to say and do. So could we say your challenge was numbness and shutting down?
Yes.
Perfect. If you didn't have the numbness and the shutting down, ask yourself, and guys, if you can't see this, we're asking David, what would happen without the challenge? What would happen if you didn't have numbness and shutting down? What could all be the good things that would happen?
I'd have energy. I'd have joy. I'd have peace. I'd have focus and clarity. I wouldn't have headaches. I wouldn't have physical body pain.
What would you have? Tell me more about the joy, the peace. What would your relationships, your life, the time
Well,
you spend, the experiences, what would happen if you didn't shut down or went go numb?
it's like myself and other people, the guard would fall and their conversation would flow. It wouldn't be so tense.
Hmm.
Get closer to people.
Yeah. That sounds like the peace and joy you're looking for, right?
Yeah. I mean,
Yeah.
it's part of it for sure.
What else would happen? Anything else that we should like think about your life? What would change without numbness and shutting down? What would you do differently? How would you live?
I mean, probably a lot different. I'd probably travel more, laugh more, spend more time with people and not hide in my house working. Spend less time in bed because I'd have more energy to go do stuff.
I love it. Perfect. This is a really good list. A good list to start. Now I want you to ask, based upon what we've learned today, what do you think your subconscious mind believes the numbness and shutting down does for you? What benefits do you think your subconscious mind, what have we discovered so far, and anything else come to mind?
I I don't know. I mean, the first thing that came to my mind is you just got to go through the pain or you're going to experience more pain. But yet, right now, I'm in freaking physical pain. So that's not fun. I'm getting to the point where I feel actually like sick, like nauseous.
Okay, first I want you to breathe in
And
and
this is
then,
what causes my blood pressure to go up. Then I get frustrated and angry about it all.
yeah. So let's your nervous system is going into fight or flight. Okay. So, and that could last for 20 minutes before you come out. But what would help, one thing will help. I want you to breathe in for 4 and exhale for 6. When we breathe in and exhale for slightly longer, it begins to calm our nervous system. So breathe in and out. In and out. And begin to imagine you're safe and know you're safe and know you're growing. And just like when you go to the gym and you're doing another rep, but it feels kind of intense, you know that you're growing, your muscles growing, you're getting stronger. And now we're just getting our mind and our spirit stronger. We just don't practice as much. So earlier you told me, like, look at your numb list. You said that you thought it was protecting you, right? Protecting you from the emotions.
Hmm.
So that could be another thing, right? Is there anything else that you can think of that the numbness or the shutting down or the physical pain as you breathe in and out for slightly longer that you might have conditioned to believe helps you in some way?
So you're saying, why do I feel numb and shut down?
Well, why do you think your subconscious mind is creating that? Because it most absolutely is. You weren't born that way. God didn't make you that way. He didn't create you. You weren't born with numbness and shutting down. You were born perfect love and light. Somewhere along the way, your brilliant child mind said, I have to cope with something I'm experiencing. I got it. I'm going to choose numbness and shutting down.
I guess if I stand up and fight, which I do, it's like I don't back down from a lot of things, but this emotional stuff I do, if I fight, it just gets worse. It just gets worse. So you might as well just stay calm and go to bed and just let it pass.
I think you're going to discover some really amazing things in your hypnosis. And just looking at this, who else, in our example today of what we were talking about, who else had to just get through it and get through the pain?
I mean, millions of people throughout history, but if you're saying like, I mean, I don't know if, well, Jesus definitely went through pain, physical pain, emotional pain. Is that where you're going with that?
Yeah, yeah. But he did that so you didn't have to suffer the same.
Yeah, he did it with perfect balance though. He was, you know what I mean? It's like,
Yeah. So we don't have to do what he did. That's why he did it for us. He wants us to be able to feel the emotions. So can you tell me about a time when you experienced peace and joy without numbness or shutting down?
like I said, it's been about 10 years.
So tell me before.
Like back then, what happened?
Well, tell me, when have you experienced emotions? Don't forget to breathe. When
Yeah,
have you experienced emotions and you still had peace and joy without shutting down and going numb? Think about before 10 years ago is fine. Go back as far as you need to.
my whole life was dysfunctional, but I can think of a time like when I was in high school after I trusted Christ as my savior, my whole life changed. And even despite the chaos, I had peace and love and joy. So that was nice.
Yeah. So you know it's possible,
Yes.
right? So this numbness and pain, breathing and shutting down, is it actually protecting you? Like, do you feel protected when you're feeling what you're feeling right now? Does it feel protective?
No, it sucks and it just kicks the can down the road.
Yeah. Kicks the can down the road. So when you
Like,
said you should just stay calm and go to bed and let it pass, it just kicks the can down the road, right?
yeah, and I've said this before. I hate emotions because you can't touch it. Like I'd rather get in a fist fight and either win or die trying. Like
Yeah.
fight's easy. You just hit somebody.
So but imagine you're in your head right now and you're like, okay, I'm holding this belief that numbness and shutting down is protecting me and letting me just get past it. But at the same time, I know it's not getting past it. It doesn't protect me, and it's just kicking the can down the road. How does it feel trying to reconcile those two
That's
things?
why I have high blood pressure. That's
All
exactly it.
right.
I'm in constant tear mode. Like I'm being torn different directions constantly in a bunch of different ways. And if I don't go run and like or like lift weights and like I haven't worked out since 2018, that's a whole other story. But like when I was in shape, I would get frustrated. I'd go for a run. My blood pressure could be like super high. I'd come back 115 over 60. So,
Exactly.
but
You know why?
I can't run when I'm 90. It's hard enough to run now at 48, you
I
know?
highly suggest yoga and weightlifting. But here's what I would say. Your brain can't hold conflicting truths at the same time, or conflicting beliefs. Sorry, not truths. And so then it tries, and that's why your blood pressure goes up.
Hmm.
They're opposites, but yet it's like how you can't hold two conflicting beliefs. So now you see, right? Let's do this. This is your limiting belief lie detector. We're going to create it, and then we're going to talk about how to get you to peace and joy. So I created this, and this is my example. This is what's happening in your brain. This is why, again, it's not your fault. Your brain thinks it's a solution. Your brain thinks, oh, I'm going to shut down, get numb, and make him feel so bad that he just gets out of this situation because feeling the emotions and dealing with the emotions in other people is worse. Because somewhere along the way, your brain decided that. Because think about way, way, way back when, David, we were tribal people, right? We lived in tribes. Yes? Some type of tribe.
Yeah, I mean,
City.
I don't believe that, billions of years ago stuff and we were chased by tigers. I believe the Bible, literally. So civilization, God created about
So
six,
think of
seven
a
thousand
church
years ago.
community.
No, no,
Like
no.
a,
But he did create tribes of people and nationalities and
yes.
cultures. So yeah, yeah. I'm
So
not
think
chasing.
about like go way, way, way pre technology, as far back as you go.
Okay.
Like, could we live independently in the
By
environment?
ourselves.
Yeah, as a
No,
single
God
person.
said, I mean, with Adam, he created Adam and said it's not good for man to be alone. So he created Eve. So we're made to be in community.
Yeah, right. And our subconscious mind believes we'll die if we're not in community. Because we would. Maybe not so much now, mentally and emotionally, we're dying. We're the most technically connected, but the most spiritually disconnected society we've ever been. So your brain's like, I can't disconnect from other people because I won't survive. Remember, your subconscious mind is meant to keep you alive. Your creator created you as a tribal being. So your mind thinks, well, how do I not get kicked out of the tribe? And somewhere along the way, you felt emotions, your emotions, and what happens with them might get you kicked out. Hypnosis is going to be fascinating. You're going to learn so much. But for me, I felt similarly. So this was what I went through. Here's the template, and you guys can go download this at unlocklimitlessyou.com/resources. It's called our limiting belief lie detector. If I get what I want, so David, if you get the peace and joy that you want, we'll go through yours in a little bit. If I get what I want, then a bad thing will happen. So I do what I do at the moment, even though the thing I want, because anything, all the crap we put up with, is better than the bad thing. And then after you learn, you'll see the truth. The truth I now see, which is the mismatch between what you believed, those limiting beliefs, that conditioned response, that in your mind you didn't know or did know that you thought was true, and what's actually true. So for me, because I lived in a lovely environment, but I was judged a lot. It was never enough. Not because my parents didn't love me, but because they were scared that I wouldn't have enough. And they wanted me to be safe because they didn't feel safe growing up. So we passed down these conditioning from generation to generation. So I came up with defensiveness was my solution, my problem, my challenge. Yours is numbness, right, David? Shutting down. I didn't shut down and go numb. I got angry. And I made sure that they knew I was right and they were wrong. So I thought if I let people get close to me, then they will inevitably judge, hurt, or abandon me. So I quickly get defensive and put up walls to protect me, even though what I really wanted was to be vulnerable, kind, and deeply connected. Because my subconscious mind thought that was better than loneliness, conflict, distancing, etc. If all those things were better than being judged, hurt, or abandoned. So I put up with the loneliness. I put up with the conflict. I put up with the distancing. I didn't like it. I didn't want it. Just like you don't want the pain, you don't want the numbing, you don't want any of that. But I did it because my mind thought it was better than being judged, hurt, or abandoned. But the truth I now see because now I know what my past conditioning was. I can see that my little mind just made up untruths. I've recoded it, I've rewritten, I've changed my whole life. Now I see there's nothing better than living fully as my authentic self. And when I'm vulnerable and show my true self without fear of judgment, my energy will remain in a high vibration and I attract people that love me for who I am. And I only want to invest my energy to nurture a deep connection with people that accept and care for my authentic self. I wouldn't have been that way before. I wanted everybody to like me. I had all sorts of needs for external validation. So I want to do this for you now, David. So if you get the peace and joy that you want, right? If you could feel peace and joy and be able to feel the emotions, what bad thing might happen? If you could feel emotions again and cry and just be free to be peaceful and joyful, what bad thing might happen, do you think? Or what bad thing do you think your subconscious thinks might happen?
Honestly, the first thing that came to mind is people are going to attack me again.
Mm-hmm.
People will attack me and try to ruin it, hurt me. It's like they're, oh, he has peace and joy. We're going to take that away.
Yes. And that's perfect. Come to the thing, say the things that first come to mind. So, because that bad thing could happen, people are going to attack you again and try to ruin it and take it away. What do you do at the moment that you don't want to do?
I guess I stuff everything down and deal with the pain I know instead of dealing with the unknown.
Yeah.
I don't want more pain, worse pain.
Yes.
Like I lived through the pain I had, which was terrible, but I don't want more.
Yeah. And right now, then you say, that's the unknown, right? Because you don't know.
Hmm.
It could be better or it could be worse. And you're saying, I'll just deal with what I got because it could be worse. Is that
Yeah,
right?
but in my rational mind, I know, oh, it'll be better. Number one, and number
Yeah,
two,
I know.
if something
But
happens, we'll deal with it.
your rational mind's not what's in charge right now.
Yeah, the subconscious is saying, dude, people are just gonna hurt you more. Just lay down and accept what you have.
Yeah. Even though what you want is what?
Peace and joy, rest, sleep
Yeah.
without nightmares.
Yeah. But even though you want those things, what do you put up with?
Mm, I tolerate a lot of bad behavior from people I love, and ask the question again.
So this will be the better way to do it. Read what we have so far and then just say what comes naturally. If I get,
Peace and joy, about to feel emotions, then people are going to
can you
attack.
read out loud?
Oh yeah. If I get peace and joy and are able to feel emotions again, then people are going to attack me again and to try to ruin it and take it away. So I stuff everything down and deal with the pain I know versus dealing with potentially more pain because I don't want more pain. Even though I want peace, joy, and rest and sleep without nightmares and to feel love, I can add that in because anything I tolerate a lot of bad behavior from people I love
This is what you put up with or sacrifice in the parentheses.
is better than it getting worse.
Yeah. Yeah. And we know a little bit with your conscious mind, and you'll learn a lot more after we go through the next steps. Not today, don't worry. He's like, oh my God, can we done now?
No,
Uh,
no, I just like I said, between my headache, my backache, and I go to the bathroom, this is like that's the pain on my face for those watching.
that that's why I said at the beginning, do you want to reschedule? The truth I now see is the what? You just said you said it's going to get better. It would be better. What else do you see?
Yeah, I'll have peace, rest, feel free, and live a joyful life.
Yeah. So this is what we have to do. You started, you made a good, like now, like look at this. I want you to print this out.
You'll have
And
to send it to me.
yeah, I will. I want you to print it out where you're going to see it. You're going to read it at least once a day. Okay?
Hmm.
Anytime you feel like you're going to go numb or you're starting to feel physical pain or you're trying to stuff down emotions, I need you to put this in front of your face and read it and remind yourself. Because your subconscious mind makes a wonderful, wonderful servant, but a terrible master. And you have to take back control. Your creator gave you your subconscious mind as a tool, as a part of you, right? It's not who you are. So, can you hold up your right hand? If you're listening, hold up your right hand.
All right.
Gently slap yourself in the face. If you did that all the time, would you do that all the time? And if you did, what would people think about you? You just walked around doing this.
Oh, they think I had some kind of mental illness, or I was part of the. Oh, forget, I won't say it. Oh no.
But your hand is just a part of you, just like your mind.
Yeah.
And we let our mind slap us around all the time. So next time your mind is slapping you around, just remember, like, no, I'm not going to do that. And it's okay. Have compassion for yourself. You know that all it is a protective measure, an unhealthy coping skill that was learned that you can unlearn and teach yourself a healthier one.
Okay, I don't want to derail and take this an entirely different direction, but you just said something that triggered a mystery of my life I've never understood.
Oh, tell
So
me.
I am not into S&M or whatever it's called. I'm not into like freaking beating myself or penance, but like because I don't feel it, I'm kind of numb. If somebody hits me, I get this smile on my face, like it's going down. Is that just a psychological thing for some other reason, or is it connected to this? So what I'm saying, basically, if we were doing stuff, I'm like, stay calm, stay calm, stay calm, and then somebody hits me, and I'm like I smile. I don't even really feel the pain. It's just like, all right, man, you made the decision. Now you go live with the consequences. And that's how I've always been. And I didn't realize it till lately. I was joking around with my girlfriend. She punched me in fun, not anger. But when she hit me, I got a smile on my face. It's this weird thing where it's almost like, I don't know if it's just because I feel it or if it's because I hate emotion so much, it's a physical act. But I truly do feel great when I'm physically active. And yet I sabotage myself and I don't do it. Right. But
Yes.
that being hit and that little spark of like, ooh, what is that?
Well, it could be a couple things. One could be like you finally get to feel something, right? That could be one thing. Another thing could be what do you associate that hitting with?
Oh, I should think through this. Somebody went to jump us the other day, and I just threw him out of the way. And I was like, all right, if he pulls a gun, we're taking him down. There's no fear. There's no, it's like I had to think about what I even did after. I threw him 6 feet before I realized what happened. Truly, it was just automatic protection mode. And then when it was done, it's like I had the self control not to put him through a window, didn't hit him. I just threw him out of the way, neutralized the situation. But like, yeah, I don't know.
Well, I
So
think
ask the
the other
question
thing that
again.
I'm just, well, I said, well, what do you associate with it? But as you describe it and I see your whole, you light up differently, your energy is different. It was an intuitive movement.
Yeah, and when I don't think about something, good things happen and it flows.
Yeah.
Anything, I could take a stupid shot, and if I don't think about it, I'll sink. Whether it's basketball or one time my kid and I were screwing around, I threw a hanger and got it on the rack. I mean, if I don't think about stuff,
Yes.
it's just natural, and it's
Yes.
always been that way. But if I try, it's agonizing, it's painful, there's no fun in it, and it's a struggle.
Yes. You're proving, like this is again, ladies and gentlemen, don't listen to me, experiment with it. When you get rid of judgment, you don't think about those things. You just do it. You're in your flow. You're being intuitive. You're doing what feels natural. Oh my God, that's freeing.
But see, why is violence natural to me? I mean, like that protection mode, that really is something that I always felt like my job is to love and protect my family and people,
Mhm.
right? And I don't look for violence, but crazy things happen to me, so I'll confront it. But like when someone does cross that line, there is like all right, let's do this, man. It's almost like fun, to be honest with you.
Is it when you're,
I love wrestling. I love jujitsu, but you don't do that anymore. I'm 48. I could still do jujitsu, but just I haven't done it. But that competition and that challenge and that, I don't know, there's something to it.
well, there's a whole bunch wrapped up in that because we'll have to separate it out, right? The physical part has nothing to do with the violence. As far as like there, it can, when you are physical, you will most likely feel better. When you have movement, you will most likely feel better. If you're thinking about the violence on its own, number one, you're in movement. Number one, your intuition. Number three, you said it's been your job to love and protect.
Yeah.
And so you associate it with your destiny, your job. It makes you, what did you say earlier? A good man.
Yeah.
And
And
so,
I'm 48 and in my life, I've never hit somebody in anger
mhm.
ever. One time I hit somebody in the chest and I felt terrible afterwards. But and it was still protecting myself. It was like self-defense, but I've never hit somebody in anger. It's always been controlled, and I don't want to hurt people. I just want to neutralize the situation. So again, I want to make sure that's really clear. So
So
when I
think
say
about it. You're living
violence
your
to me is
purpose.
just fighting.
Well, yeah, so it doesn't sound like you love violence, you love protecting.
Yeah, yeah, it is. I feel my role is to protect, and then one of my major frustrations is you can't protect people from themselves. You know what I mean? You can protect the village and be the the general, but if the villagers open the back door and let the enemy in, it's like, what the hell do you do? And that's kind of what happened in my life. I'm sitting there trying to protect my family, and they let the enemy within. You know what I mean? So it's just very frustrating when you can't do anything, especially when that's
But
all you want to do. You love them and you want to
yeah,
protect them, but you can't protect them from themselves.
well, here's the
And
thing. That's why I love what I do. I teach them that they can protect themselves and how to do it.
yeah,
Right? So you love it because you feel like it's your purpose and it feels natural and flowing to you. That's why when I made this huge shift in my career, I love what I do because I feel it's my purpose. We talked about what God's destiny was for us. When you find it, you are in flow. So that protection you feel is a part of your purpose and your flow. So
yeah,
you
and
don't
see,
have to resist it.
but see, that's where it's so confusing because like there's things I'm good at and none of those are public. You can't do them publicly, right? And one of the things I've been good at through history is protecting myself and others. And I was going to join the military, but that wasn't God's will. I had a tumor in my head and
Hmm.
it took out, it grew back, took it out, had radiation. I was in and out of the hospital for 2 years, had reconstruction. So what I felt was my purpose to serve God and the nation, that wasn't God's will. And now, like, I'm not bitter or angry about it, but that's always, I've never understood that. Like, why would you make me to protect, but then not give me the ability or the position to protect? I'm a marketing guy now, right? I've been
Well,
in
how
sales
might
and
you
marketing.
though? How
Huh?
might you? How might you?
How
How
might
might
I what?
you? Like, military is not the only option
Yeah,
to.
I actually went into body armor and less lethal weapons, the closest I could get to serve my nation and help. So I did that for years.
What about teaching others
I
what
taught
you
at a
know?
college. I taught at a college for 3 years, and I
Yeah,
still teach in coaching. Yeah.
yeah, to protect. Teach others how to protect themselves because that's the thing. Even though you were given those capabilities, maybe your creator said, no, no, no. The most important thing you can do is help people realize that they have to learn to protect themselves, and you can teach them how.
All right, let's go off to another subject because like that's so deep, and I don't feel like it's as important as the other stuff we were talking about. I didn't mean to sidetrack us.
It's good though for you. You and I should talk some more.
All right. Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
I want this to be again, we're talking about me, but I want me to be the guinea pig so our listeners can be helped too.
So if you're listening and you're like, oh my God, these guys are everywhere, well, we're stopping and starting. This is about, let's think of it this way. You are a beautiful space for a garden, your garden. And we're gonna, through today and other things that I do, we won't get to it all today, but we're ripping out the weeds at the root and we're moving the big boulders out of the way and we're tilling the earth and we're fertilizing it. And then we're helping you think about what seeds do you want to plant? It is your garden, it is your life, it is your choice. So that's how you can look at all the different things that we've talked about and done with David today. We've ripped out some roots, right? We got to maybe dig a little deeper to get to the base of it in hypnosis, if he wants to do that. We've moved some boulders, and now we're starting to talk about, well, what are the seeds? What flowers do you like to see? He likes to protect people. What seeds are on offer? What is available to him? There's not just one seed. There's not just one way to do it. David, have you heard of convergent and divergent thinking?
Honestly, I think I've heard the term, but I have no idea at this point what that would be in reference to.
Yeah, so if you're looking at his t-shirt, which is awesome, it has remarkable people, and it's got like a little Superman thing. I want you to see a diamond. Well, no, I don't want you to see a diamond. I want you to see makes it simple, a triangle. And at the base of the triangle is a point. So that is converging. You're getting like laser focused, like point, right? So when you're in fight or flight or when you think you have to solve something, your brain gets convergent because it's like, I got to survive. I got to figure this out. And it only can see one way to do it. In David's case, it's numbing or shutting down. So he's like, I'm in danger. I'm going to converge. I got to save myself. I'm going to converge. And this is how I do it. Divergent is the top of the triangle. It's open and it goes out. And if you took the lines out, it would go out infinitely. So divergent thinking opens you up to all sorts of possibilities. So that was our example now. Convergent is, I want to protect people. The only way I can do that is the military. I don't have the military, so now I'm screwed. Divergent thinking is like, well, what do I like about protecting people? What are all the different ways I might do that? Who do I know? What have I done? Like starting to think about all the possibilities. Because if you're always converging, you'll never see what's out there in that divergent space. So just like a wave or the flow of life, you go in and out, in and out. So you open up your mind divergently to think about what might be possible. And then you pick something that you would have never known otherwise. And then you converge on that and you say, let's test this out. Let's see if this works. What do I learn? How do I grow? And then you open up again. And once you learn that it's safe, right? That like the truth he's beginning to see, he knows it's going to be better. He knows he's going to feel peace and rested. So how might we do that in a different way? And what actions might we take? And that's where we would go next. So now it's time. We've done so much gardening. And I don't know about you, David, I don't know if you do gardening, but I'm so sick of always dealing with the weeds and never getting to plant the flowers and enjoying the flowers. So a lot of what we've been doing up until now is the weeding and the tilling. And we've scratched the surface today, the best we could do on a podcast. I would love to work with you in a more one-on-one, deeper setting. And if you're listening and you're like, oh my God, I need help with this. This is amazing. I can't wait to have my limitless life in my garden. You just reach out to me, unlocklimitlessyou.com/call. You can check all the free stuff today and so much more. But now we have this limiting belief lie detector for David. And he can see that his subconscious mind, right, David, just to kind of like launch off of this and into the garden and how we're going to till the soil so that it's ready. I want you to read this straight through now, starting if I get.
Can you enlarge that? My screen got smaller.
Yeah. Does that
Thank
work?
you. Yep, perfect. All right, if I get peace and joy and be able to feel the emotions, then people are going to attack me again and try to ruin it and take it away. So I stuff everything down and deal with the pain I know versus dealing with the pain I don't know because I don't want more pain. Even though I want peace, joy, and rest and sleep without nightmares and to feel love, because anything, I tolerate a lot of bad behavior from people I love, is better than it getting worse. The truth I now see is I know it would be better. I would have peace, feel rested, and have a joyful life.
Yeah. So a lot of times when you're in the heat of the moment and you're numbing out or like, I'm just gonna like go to bed and let this pass, are you consciously thinking like, oh, people are gonna attack me again if it gets too good and ruin it?
No.
No, you're not, right? But it came to you. And it came to you so quickly. And it's so insightful today because that's actually what's really going on. That's what your subconscious gave you a little bit of a peek today, even without the guided meditation or hypnosis or whatever you want to call it. It gave you a peek. And we need to open that window and open that door because on the other side of what we've been afraid of getting worse, we now know it's going to get better. right? So what do we do next? How do we know? Just if you're listening and maybe you're like, well, that's not my thing. We've helped over 100 clients, and our teachers and people that we've studied under have helped thousands. And most often, 99.9%, once we peel back the layers of all these limiting beliefs, like we've begun to do for David today, it comes back to some subconscious flavor of I'm not enough. Baskin Robin has 31, your subconscious mind has more. I'm not strong enough. I'm not smart enough. I'm not attractive enough, successful enough, rich enough, lovable enough, whatever it is. But it's not true. And all the things that we do outside of ourselves, those unhealthy coping mechanisms for poor David, it's his body torturing himself, right? And numbing out and his high blood pressure going up. That's not going to help him. My unhealthy coping mechanisms, I used to like drink a lot and binge watch Netflix. That wasn't helping. Yours might be feeling like you need to be successful and fame and fortune. Maybe yours isn't eating. Sometimes I used to do emotional eating, right? Maybe it's drugs, maybe it's sex, maybe it's shopping. Whatever it is to distract yourself. Your subconscious mind introduces because it fears what it thinks is worse. But we've seen today, right, that it's not. It's going to get better. And we don't need to be afraid. So you've heard this before, perhaps. If not, listen up. It seems too simple, but we've seen it's true today. David, can you read this for me?
Every problem in your life is a thinking problem. Change your thoughts and change your life.
How does that resonate with you today after what we've talked about? Don't believe me. Apply it to what we've done today.
Every problem in your life is a thinking problem. It's the thoughts. I am way too much in my head. Agreed. Change your thoughts and change your life. Yeah, because even if you can't change the situation you're in, the way your paradigm is, the way you're thinking about it, you can change your whole attitude towards it. So yeah, I agree with this.
Yeah. You know what's crazy? It's not crazy, but you think it's crazy. I say that. Maybe I shouldn't say that because then people don't listen. But it's never the things outside of you that impact you. How many times have you said, that made me mad, that made me yell, you made me this, all these things, right? It actually isn't making you. Nobody can make you mad. It's never the other person or the situation that impacts you. It's the meaning you give it. So just like you said, David, it's the paradigm you have. It's the meaning you give the thing that's happening outside of you that impacts you, right? It's the meaning you give it. That's why we could create completely separate realities, even if we were in the same space, if you gave it a different meaning than I did. So we have to learn how to choose our meaning. I love this quote from Gandhi. Read it slowly for me.
Carefully watch your thoughts, for they become your words. Manage and watch your words, for they become your actions. Consider and judge your actions, for they have become your habits. Acknowledge and watch your habits, for they shall become your values. Understand and embrace your values, for they become your destiny.
You can walk anything, good or bad, backwards with what he said and trace it back to a thought. Trace it back to a thought. That's why the thoughts are what create your destiny, right? And your goal is to live the destiny that your creator chose for you. And so you have to be very careful about what thoughts you plant in that garden of yours. We want to plant only ones that serve you. And here's a little tool how is what I'm going to leave you guys with today. So what can you do? First is choose curiosity over judgment. And I like the British spelling, so I leave an E in there. Einstein said this. Can you read this for me, David? Albert Einstein said this. What did he say?
I have no special talents. I am only passionately curious.
Would you have described Einstein as somebody with no special talents?
Oh no, he's a brilliant man.
Yeah, he didn't label himself. He was just passionately curious. So that's what we need to be. We can learn from him. So to help it be easy to remember, I borrowed his equation, E equals MC squared. So what do you do? How do we get started? Listen up and write this down. The new energy equation for the life you want to create. So yours, David, you want more joy and peace. Somebody might want freedom. Somebody want deeply connected relationships, whatever it is. Define the energy you want and put that under E. What do you want? And here's how you get it. Granted, you can take a quantum leap if you go through my program because I'm going to teach you and guide you and help you discover the emotional prison you put yourself in through our program. But you can get started today. You don't have to wait. There's no excuses. The energy you want is mindful thinking. So a lot of what we've been doing today. This is not easy unless you want it to be easy. Like for me, I think it's fun. So I think it's not only is it easy, it's exciting. Go to unlocklimitlessyou.com/resources and you can get some of the tools and templates to help you with this mindful thinking for free. Here's the powers. You have to do mindful thinking, not analysis paralysis. Mindful thinking raised to the power of compassion and curiosity. People use those words all the time. So what do I mean? If you can't see, you should go search this up. There's this beautiful piece of artwork from, I don't remember what year, from Burning Man. Some gentleman created it. It was like super, super tall. But what we're looking at right now are two wire structures of two adults with their heads down, backs against each other. But inside those wire structures are two little beautiful children reaching out to touch each other and connect. And that's what's happening with us. So I want you to remember, this is the compassion piece. This is the life hack. Inside every adult is the subconscious mind of a child. So until you do the self-exploration and the discovery and the inner reparenting, your subconscious mind is running off all these beliefs that were created before you were 10, most likely, if you're 35 and older. So when you look at somebody and they're angry or you're angry at them, don't see the external physical adult. Stop and have compassion. See them as a 6-year-old and see yourself as a 6-year-old that's just doing their best. And know, with compassion, every single thought or action from you or somebody else is either a call for love or a show of love. If somebody's not acting loving towards you, that's to hurt them inside doing something that they think is protecting them or they're afraid. And really, that's just a cry for love. Can you get that, David?
Yeah, like do I understand what you're saying?
Yeah. Can you think of an example in your life where perhaps you did some of those things that were on your lack of love list, but really you loved the person? You just didn't know how to love in the moment.
Mm-hmm.
It was just a call for love. It was just like an inner, like, oh my God, I don't know what to do. I got to protect myself, even though I want to do something else. That's what I mean for a call for love, right? You're not intentionally doing anything bad because you're pure love and light. You're not trying to be unloving, but your subconscious mind needs something to feel safe, and you're not feeling safe. And so you do what you do. Does that make sense?
Mm-hmm.
So once you interrupt that cycle, right, with compassion, like you're really angry at somebody, and then you breathe and you're like, oh, okay, let's see here. What's going on? What's really going on? Then this is how you get curious. So can you think of a time, David? I would like to use an example if you have one, Can you think of a time where you felt an emotion, where you felt anger or sadness, and you decided, I need to numb out or disconnect
Mm-hmm.
because you really didn't want to? And is that a time that you can share with the group so we can walk them through it?
Well, I mean, even right now, it's like there's so much going on in my head. There's so much going on in my head. I just feel headache, sick. I just want to go lay down.
Yeah. So perfect. So you answered the first question. Where are you sensing this emotional energy in your body?
Front of the brain. It always is that way. It makes me feel super heavy and tired and fatigued. Like the front of my head is heavy.
That is really important to know. You have different energy centers in your body, and I won't go through all those today. A lot of times, some people will feel it in their stomach, right? Where you
And
normally sense it is an indicator of what's going on. We can't dive into that today, but it's good that you know where it's at, and it's good to know if that's always the case.
yes, I mean, I remember playing basketball one time with guys, and I was playing ball. I'm like, man, I'm so tired. I could lay on the floor. And they're all dripping with sweat, and I'm like barely sweating. They're like, what are you kidding me? And I'm like, what are you talking about? I'm like, dragging. And they're like, Dave. And then at that moment, I realized that my physical body wasn't tired. It was my mental body. And there was this weight in the front lobe of my head that just feels heavy. And if you can explain that to me, I'll greatly appreciate it.
Yeah, let's have another session where we talk about your energy centers and what it signifies and how to align them. So for this, though, you're feeling it in your prefrontal cortex is really what that is. It's in your energy center. It's in your seventh energy center. And you're feeling that. And what emotions are you feeling? You said you just want to go lay down, right? So that's like the checking out emotion. How would you describe the emotions that you're feeling?
Tired, fatigued, frustrated, exhausted
And what is it asking you to do?
right now and just
Yeah,
go to sleep.
go to sleep. And earlier you had said, just go to sleep. It'll pass by. It'll go, right?
Yeah, your body will rest, it'll wake up better
Yeah.
and you'll have, you'll be able to handle more.
And then you realize though, then you're just kicking it down the road because then your body does it again the next time. And the
Hmm.
next time, anytime you have to deal with the emotions, right?
Hmm.
So it's asking you to go lay down and to check out. What do you need right now? Like, what do you really need if you think about it? What do you need?
I
Might
don't
be,
know. I mean, I need this headache to go away. I need to feel energy. I need my eyes to not feel like I'm falling asleep.
yeah, yeah. Well, we
So I
started that way, so this is a little bit skewed for this example.
probably need to go for a walk, or if I could, if my back wasn't hurt, I'd go for a run.
hmm So you need some movement.
Hmm.
And what do you want the listeners and I to understand?
To find out, I don't understand the question.
Yeah, what do you want us to understand about this need that you have, these sensations that you have?
I don't know.
Well, would you want to leave it up to my interpretation and to theirs?
I mean, when I think of it, it's just damage in my life I haven't dealt with or resolved because I don't know how.
hmm Yeah, yeah. So that's beautiful. And that's what we need to learn. And I'll next time we'll talk about how to communicate that. Because think about it this way. If you didn't go through this equals MC squared, right? We weren't doing what we were doing now.
Hmm.
You'd have went to bed, you would have woken up and you would have done it all over again and nothing would have changed. But that's not the energy you want in your life, right? You want peace, you want joy, you want to feel rested. You want somebody to love you the way you need to be loved. You need compassion too, right? So, like before we started this call today, guys, David shared with me how he was feeling physically because he literally hurt his back. And I said, let's do this a different time. This is about you. He's like, no, I'm going to do this. We got this. Our schedules will be too busy, all the stuff, right? So we go back to our love list. If I had said that to you, you would have been like, tough it out, lady. Which maybe you would. I don't know. I don't think you would have. But to
Yeah.
you, you're like, I gotta tough this out because I gotta get through this. I gotta check this box, gotta do this schedule. Self-love, self-care, that'll happen later. This is a beautiful example. And now I'm going to give you the gift of compassion and love, David, because you deserve it. And today is a good example of how you can begin to see how by not giving it to yourself, you're keeping yourself stuck into the same patterns and into the same pain. And through thinking about this E equals MC squared, and this is the rewrite, start to take action. Start to tell your brain. So you could say, oh, I think I moved it. So we have this other thing you can download. I didn't think I was going to use it today, but let's use it. So this is our joy regenerator. Yeah, again, unlock limitless you .com/joy. So you can feel these things in your body now, David, right? The pain, the heaviness, the frustration. I want you to pause and breathe like we did before. In for a count of 4 and out for a count of 6. In for a count of 4 and out for a count of 6. In for a count of 4. Out for a count of 6. You've identified it's the emotion is the fatigue and the headache in your head. You can give yourself some compassion now. You literally just threw your back out. It's okay to not be perfectly able to do everything physically all the time. Right? You can begin to see, right? The root cause has something to do with you feeling like you don't deserve the love that you give everybody else. You might not have consciously thought that, but your actions have shown in you today through our activities. And that's okay. We're learning, we're growing. The guarantee is fulfilled. I want you to lean into gratitude. Just tell me, what are 3 things that you're grateful for right now? Just any 3.
I'm grateful for my son and my daughter. I'm grateful for going through so many things that I can learn from. I'm grateful for I love my condo. Not gonna lie. I live in a condo on the beach. I love my condo.
Nice. And so this original thought that you needed to go check out and go to bed, once we actually thought about it, like to feel safe, to feel like, oh my God, I can, was it true? Is that the only way to get joy and peace is to go lay down and go to sleep?
I feel like I'm about to and it's gonna explode. And if I don't calm down, I gotta lay down to control the situation so I don't, you know, keep inflating. It has to deflate.
Yeah, that's really insightful. And you said before, though, like one thing might be a walk, right? So think of it this way. This is a good something for you to think about. Like imagine you're looking at an African safari. Okay, and there's a ton of zebra out there and they're grazing. They're peaceful, they're joyful, they're just eating. And then the lion comes. They don't see it until he gets real close. And then as soon as they see him, they know they got to run and run fast. And so everything in their body pumps up so they can run. Human beings aren't that different. So right now, that building up that you're feeling, the reason why the physical feels so good to you is because your mind thinks it needs to build all those things up because you're in danger. And what happens is we don't have to run. And then we have this energy in our body, and that's what you're feeling. And that's what I want you to do, the breathing. I like your idea of the movement. I like your idea of the walk, of staying engaged with you, doing something that's loving to you. Did you get 8 hours of sleep last night?
Probably not. And I had nightmares all night.
Okay, so maybe a nap would be beneficial then, but do what's loving to you. A lot of people just go to sleep just to escape, and they don't actually need the sleep, and that's not loving to them. There's a balance. So what you can say now is, Yvonne, it's not your fault. When you took me through all this emotional discovery, the story I told myself is like, I gotta run, I gotta get some rest. I gotta control myself or something is gonna explode because I'm feeling a lot of energy and I'm feeling a headache. I started with one and it's not getting better. You've helped me process this now, but maybe I need some time. I need a walk. Here's what I need. And I need you to understand it has nothing to do with you and everything to do with what's going on inside of me. And when you're ready and I'm ready, can we process what's going on so I can heal further and find my joy and peace as my authentic self, knowing that I'm enough to just be because you are. You absolutely are. And so now it's time to think about that love list and go choose something off of it to give yourself right now. What's on your love list that you're going to give yourself as soon as we say goodbye?
Time. Just go spend time with myself and God.
Perfect, because you deserve it. Don't rush off to another anything.
Yeah, oh yeah, I got texts and calls piling up and emails.
Yeah, that's not going to make your headache better. That's not going to make you start to understand that you're worthy of love and time and care. So go take a prayer walk. Knowing that, remember, those texts and emails, if you go to them now, you went through some heavy stuff. What are they going to get?
Spit.
Spit! They're just going to get what's left of you. Time to fill your cup full. And I can't wait to talk again to teach you more on how to do that. David, do you have any other questions or thoughts that you feel you want to share with the audience? You've done such a great job today.
No, I mean, ladies and gentlemen, this has been a very different episode, but I hope it helped you as much as it's helped and challenged me. And then, reach out to Yvonne and look at her website and materials and see how much it can help you in your life. And I'm not sure if we're going to release this episode now or after my journey's over as a before and after, but whatever we decide will be hopefully prayerfully made that decision and hopefully help you tremendously. And Yvonne, I thank you for your time today. And I think most of all, right now, I just want this headache to go away. And I also want to know what this is. Like you said, what that weight is in the frontal lobe. And I'm not kidding. I've talked about this to many people. I've talked about it to my doctor. It's like it's just physically there. If I could get rid of that, oh man, I'd be a new man.
Yeah, we'll talk.
Sometimes when it gets bad, it feels like I describe it, it feels like sunburn in my head.
Yeah, let's talk more about your energy centers and how to align and balance them.
Yeah, definitely.
Excellent. We'll do that next time, or we'll
All
do it
right.
when we meet next.
Well, any final thoughts before we end this episode?
I just want to please leave one last thought. Whatever you do, know that it's not your fault and you're not alone. And don't wait. Don't wait. Because, like David said, you're just kicking the can down the road. And you deserve to have a life full of joy and peace, whatever that means for you. You don't have to just survive, you can thrive. It is possible. Once you learn more about the human being you 101, 201, 301. Oh my gosh, the weight's going to be lifted no matter where it's stored on you. And you get to live your purpose and you get to float through life. So if we've done anything, I hope today we've helped you get curious about you. We've helped you realize that by loving yourself, you do love others. And they don't get your spit. They get the beautiful love that overflows from your full cup. So start one small step today. Take our self-love quiz to see where you stand, to learn what you learn. unlocklimitlessyou.com/quiz and start to get curious. How might I love myself more so that I can love others as well? And wouldn't that be a beautiful place if we're all floating from love and light and connected? That's the world I want to live in and help create. How about you, David?
Yeah. Love God, love others. Doesn't get better than that.
Let's do it.
All right. Well, Yvonne, it's been a true honor having you here today. Thank you for coming on the podcast.
Thanks for having me.
All right.
Any chance I can. Let me know how I
Ladies
can
and
help.
oh, say that again, Yvonne.
I was just saying, any chance I can, let me know how I can help. That's why I changed my life completely from a successful business and IT strategy consultant to a happiness coach. Life's too short to not be happy.
Nice. And with those words, ladies and gentlemen, we love you. Share my dysfunction with your friends and family as we go to a new place in life, hopefully together, that's better and glorifies God. And we'll see you in the next episode. Ciao. All right. Thank you, Yvonne. How was that for you?